48 hours out, 47 hours out, I guess, from Elimination Chamber. Busy week of wrestling, of course. Raw Monday, NXT Tuesday, Wednesday AEW, Thursday TNA, Friday back to SmackDown. My wife probably hates this, but I love having it all, Dan. I love having it all.
Yeah.
Busy week, a lot set up this past week in regards to the Chamber, in regards to some stuff on AEW, and of course NXT Roadblock. 2 weeks out, I believe, from this Saturday. So that would be the weekend of the 15th, I believe, for Roadblock, if I'm thinking about it correctly, or I may be wrong. Hold on, I have it up. I should probably just look.
15th is 2 weeks from Saturday. Yes.
Yeah. So,
The Ides of March.
whoa, getting all.
I don't know. See if the audience knows that reference.
Oh,
we won't go any further with it.
Yeah. Right. So I guess where you want to begin, Dan? You want to begin with Raw?
Yeah. Why not?
Oh.
Go chronological order by the week.
Wait a minute, I was wrong. Roadblock is Tuesday, March 11th at 7:30.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So it's
Madison Square Garden though, on a Tuesday. That's pretty cool.
yeah. So it's like a special NXT weekly show.
Yeah, I like that a lot. But yeah, let's go with Raw. Okay. So, did you get a chance to catch up on Raw? I know you're transferring or traveling to the WWE towers and stuff, and working with Hunter and Stephanie. But did you get a chance to view the project or view the product?
Yeah, I did.
What do you think?
I liked it. I really like what's going on with Punk and Logan, right?
It's weird, but it's good at the same time.
Exactly. I was just gonna say it's unconventional for us, right? It's bringing two very different wrestling personalities together. But I'm here for it.
And how clean was that smack?
Yeah.
Right? Was that not like so he's getting a receipt from Punk on that. Like that was full open hand, like, here, you're gonna feel this.
Yeah.
Because you saw Punk like check like the inside of his tongue and his lip afterwards, so it's coming. Like, Punk's the old school guy, right? Just like how Taker used to do that to everybody. He's definitely gonna return the favor. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like, it's bringing the generation of the young audience that knows Logan from being disbarred from Japan and all of his streaming and his podcast, and like our generation that basically grew up with Punk on the indies and Ring of Honor and TNA for a short time and WWE. So it's like the new and the old school, right?
Yeah.
Watching the segment and just how like everybody responds to Logan backstage, do you feel like he's gonna take a pounding in the Chamber? Like, they're just putting him in there to be like a sacrificial lamb. I feel like he might have a spot like Montez Ford did a couple years ago. Remember when he like Spider-Man fell from the top of the Chamber? I think that's why he's in there. But like, there's a lot of people that want to tee off on Logan, and it's gonna be great, right? Like,
yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I'd go as far as to say sacrificial lamb as much as, it's definitely going to add an element to the match where everybody can take a turn, but then he's also, I think, going to get plenty of offense in because that's what they let him do, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's this ultimate, and he's been in it before, right? It's not his first one.
Yes. So he's used to it.
Right, and he was, in the last one, he was kind of like, again, he was the antagonist and the goofy guy that did some stuff, and then they all pummeled him for it. Remember he was drawing on the wall or on the on the glass, the plexiglass while he was waiting, and then he did something else, and was it was it Seth just waiting for him, and then as the door opened or something. So I'm sure we'll get some more of that. Uh, but I also think there'll be some more that happens that is going to further some kind of story with him for sure.
Yeah. Was that the year that Sheamus or Drew did their finishing kick through the glass? Rem,
Um,
remember? Like did like not glass, but they did it through the plexiglass in the chamber. I'm trying to remember who was in the actual chamber that was talking trash to Drew. I forget.
yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
But yeah, it's perfect, right? Because then if Punk goes off on Seth, like that's kind of done for him and Logan right now. But then before Logan left, you caught Logan basically talking trash to AJ Styles in the back, right? Like
yeah,
basically telling him, I didn't think you were gonna get back or come back, and and like all this other thing of just basically telling him his career is over, right? So
yeah,
like maybe like Punk gets in his few good chops in the chamber that lays kind of silent for a bit, and then all of a sudden afterwards we get AJ and Logan for a bit. That would be pretty cool, right? Like both guys can still go. Both guys are great athletes. Like AJ's a probably top 3 athlete in the WWE, even at his current age and what current injuries he's recovered from. Like he's still doing his springboards. He's still doing his forearm. Like he can still catch you in a Styles clash out of everywhere. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, it was definitely like a new school versus the old school type of thing. And shout out to Punk for wearing the Chicago Teachers U- Union shirt as well. He's back to doing his you know, hi-
social, yeah,
yeah, his social ju- justice work in the ring too. So that's pretty cool to see from Punk. Um, I think, yeah.
just to go to it, last year's men's elimination chamber had McIntyre, LA Knight, Owens, Lashley, Orton, and Logan. And Lashley put Logan Paul through a chamber pod with a spear.
Okay, so then the Drew thing must have been a couple years ago.
A
Yeah.
different year.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, Bobby Lashley, man. Wow. AEW now.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
And McIntyre won that elimination, pinning Orton, actually.
yeah. That's good to know. Yeah, that's good
Yeah.
trivia for the end of the show then. So we already know
Oh,
one of the
oops.
right answers. Um, but and then after that we had Kaiser versus Pete Dunne and Penta. Uh, Penta technically took his first loss, right? As he got thrown out of the ring and Kaiser came in, hit the finisher on Dunne, and um, and got the 1, 2, 3. I think that's Kaiser's first win in a while, so that had to feel pretty good for him.
Yeah, I would
Um,
think so.
but it was kind of like an in between match, but it did what it was supposed to. It had its time to shine. It showed the athleticism between everybody in that match. Um, Penta pulled off the Mexican Destroyer on Dunn, but then Kaiser did that like weird DDT finisher he has, and that's how he stole the match. After that, we had Duday versus Joaquin Wild and Cruz del Toro. I kind of went upstairs and took the dogs out during this match. Like that's what it breaks. Like you know what I mean? Like that's kind
I
of
uh
where Duday
I fast
is for
forwarded
me.
through it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. I get it. Like they're the bad guys now, but I don't know. It really doesn't do anything for me. Um, so, but if you're a fan of it, you're a fan of it. So, not gonna talk bad about it. It just doesn't have its appeal. So it'll be interesting to see if we do eventually get Biggie and a mystery partner back against them at WrestleMania. That would be cool. I think that would definitely pump up the audience for that. So that should be interesting. But after that, we had Gunther versus Tozawa. Tozawa took a beating in this match. A beating. He was dropped on his head so many times, chopped, and then basically put in the sleeper, and it was crazy how Gunther picked up Tozawa in the sleeper in the ring. You
Yeah.
usually like see it outside of the ring, right? Because they're standing on the apron, so it's easier there, right? But he legitimately like picked up Tozawa the way I pick up my kid to brush his teeth. Like just held him like a baby. Like it was crazy. Um
Yeah.
and then there's some antics that went on afterwards, and Jay popped out, you know, just to build the whole Jay versus Gunther thing. So yeah, I mean, are you still getting excited for Jay versus Gunther? Are you still anticipating that being really good? What's your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Yeah, I think it will be.
Yeah, I think so too. Um, it just kind of feels like it's dragging now, right? Because I think this is the third week in a row that we've had this where Gunther turns into like the ultimate bad guy, and then Jay comes for the rescue afterwards. So, that's gonna get stale. So we need to kind of space that out a little bit. I feel like, but I'm open to thoughts on that. But yeah, it's good. I think it's gonna be good. I just wish there was a quicker way for them to get there to it. I guess, but that's just me not having patience. So that's all that
Right.
is. Valkyrie versus the Dakota Kai afterwards. Uh, Valkyrie won, then got attacked afterwards by Ivy Nile, and Ivy supposedly after all the titles. We had the Braun Breaker beating Dominic via disqualification match. Any thoughts on that match?
Um, I mean, nothing specific. Something you were thinking.
I just thought it was funny that like Dom came out and tried to like act like a badass in front of Braun, right? Like almost like it was kind of like too over the top because Braun just basically can run through a brick wall if he wanted to, and
Right.
it's just funny. But then again, like as much heat as Dom has, you can see like he can go with anybody in the ring, right? Like we saw him go with a big guy, like we saw go with somebody his size, like his body built. Like you saw him go with Braun. Braun is built like a brick wall. He's a tank that just doesn't stop. Um, how are you feeling about the Judgment Day stuff? Are you getting like to the point where you like are hoping they break off Finn pretty soon? Because they've been talking about that for a while now, and I'm kind of getting to the point of like, just do it already.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly am ready for a change. I mean, I've really been ready for a Judgment Day change for a long time, right?
Yeah,
Like I haven't really been all that interested in the Judgment Day for months, really, to be honest.
yeah,
So, even when Rhea and Damien were still in it, it just I don't know. It lost a lot for me early on,
yeah,
certainly when they did the turn on Edge, way back when, fine, that was one thing, and then like it was cool for a bit, and then with the emergence originally of like Damien and Rhea specifically, like it was good, and then I was just like, what is it anymore? Once they turned on Damien too, I was just like, forget it. I was just tired of it.
yeah. I thought the last couple of matches we hit with that we had between Finn and Damien were pretty good, especially when Damien gave him that broken arrow through the table, right? I think they didn't hold them out long enough though, because they put him on the stretcher and they put the brace on him like immediately after that.
Right.
So I thought that was good, but then I thought the good storytelling point would have been like, so after that Damien basically transferred brands, right? So if I'm right
Yeah.
in this, I think if I'm bringing when I bring Finn back, I'm having Finn be that aggravated with Judgment Day that he basically starts to split himself right then and there, right? Because nobody was there to help him against Damien. It's
Right.
like I would just start showing the cracks in the wall then, right? And then if you like won't want to throw other things in there, like he tries to like take Dom with him, or he tries to take Carlita with him, fine. But I thought that was a best opportunity there, for sure. So, and then to finish out the show, we had the tag team titles switching hands for the women's. I did not expect that to happen. Did you expect
I
that to
didn't
happen?
either. No, I didn't either.
So, what's your thoughts? My thought is Jade is coming back a lot quicker than we think, and this is to get prepared for that. And Bianca's, I'm 90% sure Bianca walks away the chamber winner on Saturday. Right?
I can see that. Yeah,
So,
I can see that.
do you think this is more of to set up Bianca or to set up the whole Jade storyline?
I think it's to set up the Jade storyline for sure. I
And
mean, assuming she can go, you want to bring her back for WrestleMania. Like, you just want her at WrestleMania. So, you know, I think it's to set that up.
yeah.
And obviously, they're moving in that direction if they're reminding us of what happened and showing us video footage and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. How do you think that plays out? Like, do you think this is the start of the Bianca heel run?
Yeah, I think it has to be, right. Like, assuming that's what we're getting, right? Like, I think it has to be, and we really haven't seen that, right? Like, she's always been this glittery, happy, you know, EST, singing and dance, or not singing, but dancing and
Mm-hmm.
twirling and all that. So now I want to see a serious, I'm interested in seeing a serious, heel version of her and see where that goes. I mean, she's got that crazy strength, in general, that she can use to be a badass heel in that sense, right? But you probably need to take the big lips off of her logo and stuff, and have her dressing a little bit differently and being a lot more serious and not jumping around and twirling her hair anymore. So I'm interested to see how they do that.
Yeah, or I mean, you could put like a gothic touch to like her outfits, right? Like just darken up the pants, like darken up the lips. Like when Shawn Michaels was kind of a heel, like he had that right for a bit. So like it's possible, like for the outfit. I'm scared. I'm not scared. I'm nervous that all of this is to give us Jade and Naomi at WrestleMania, and I don't want that. I want Jade and Bianca at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if it's Jade and Naomi. You know,
That's what I'm hoping. I mean, I'm hoping they got that other one to like pull in. Yeah, that's just my fear. Yeah. So overall, it was a packed Raw. That 2.5 hour mark hits perfectly, right? No really dead time besides whenever they put Xavier Woods on the mic. So other than that, decent show. I'll say 8, 8 out of 10, and they continue to do very good things. Um, to tie this into the chamber, how crazy do you think uh, KO and Sammy are gonna get?
I think it's going to be, I mean, I think it's going to be the most we've seen out of them with craziness and stuff you wouldn't normally see in their WWE careers. right? Like, I don't know that we're going to see, what we've seen, or, what we can go back and look at in their independent run days or Ring of Honor days, right? Like, I'm not sure we're going to see, Pro Wrestling Gorilla Kevin Steen versus El Generico,
I
right?
don't.
But,
It's gonna be
you know,
close.
I think it might be close. I just don't know if WWE is going to allow quite that much. But I think you're going to see a lot more than WWE has ever allowed them to do. Let's be honest, WWE has allowed them to do a decent amount, over the years. So I think it's going to be more than we've ever seen out of them in their WWE careers. As far as the craziness and the risky stuff and I'm sure the blood.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're going to go all out. I just don't know that WWE is going to, because at the end of the day, unsanctioned or not, we all know that that's just story.
Yeah.
And at the, behind the scenes, like Triple H is probably sitting there going, look, we're going to let you guys do a lot, but we still want you to be able to have a story in a year from now, in 6 months from now, in 3 months, right? Like,
Yeah.
we'll give you some time off probably because we know you're going to go to hell and back in this war and put on the whatever, but I can't have you doing chair shots to the head, right? Like,
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna get to that point. I think it's gonna get pretty close to PWG because don't forget they brought back, like, they've been letting Sammy and KO do that whole the buckle bomb thing that they did all the time on PWG, right? And that's highly dangerous. Like that
yeah,
whole, so like, yeah, well, clean chair shots hasn't been a thing at WWE for a while, right? So like,
no, right,
I could definitely see
right.
that being the standard of like, you guys have a green light up until here, but still protect each other. And I still feel like those two guys could put out on a hell of a show with a ton of blood within those parameters for sure, just like you said. Um, yeah, I think it's gonna get violent, and I think it's gonna get violent from the get go. Like, I don't think this is batch that you kind of gotta like wait for it to speed up, right? I think they're just gonna get into it, and it's just gonna go. Um, so that'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there'll be plenty of blood. Yeah, when I think of like their PWG matches or whatever, it might not have been specifically PWG, but right, I think of that video that circulates all the time of the two of them that just like, I mean, chair shot after chair shot and pile driver into a chair, and like pile driver off a top rope through a
Hmm.
table on a chair, right? Like, that's what I'm thinking of, right? Where the two of them just did move after move after move that was like any one of those moves could have permanently ended their life, really, to be honest.
Yeah,
I don't know that we just see that. I think we see very close.
yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, here's some trivia I'm just making up on the spot. I don't know the answer. I mean, when was the last time WWE ever did this kind of match? A true unsanctioned lights out, whatever the hell you want to call it. Like, I can't even remember that they've done this kind of stuff, right? Like, I'm sure I can't imagine that they've never done it, but like where they've actually called it unsanctioned, right? We've always had like, you know, backstage brawl, no holds barred,
So
falls count anywhere, no DQ, tribal warfare, bloodline rules, right? All of that equals the same thing, but unsanctioned is that supposed to be that next step where it's we're not responsible for this match, so it really is anything goes. Like, the idea is to let the watcher think, the audience think,
it's all fair game. Yeah.
this is all fair game because we're not taking responsibility, so we can't control them anymore, right? Rules,
So they've used the term unsanctioned match since 2002. There's been 9 of them. There's been Michael
oh, okay.
versus Triple H SummerSlam '02, Jericho versus Michaels at Unforgiven in '08, Randy versus Shane Raw 2009. That one I remember. Rollins versus Triple H Mania 33 2017. Gargano versus Champa, that I remember. Takeover in 18. Drake Maverick versus Mike Kanellis, 205 live in 2019. I guarantee
Was
that.
unsanctioned?
That's Randy Orton versus The Big Show, Raw 2020. I think I remember that one. Cole versus O'Reilly. Yep, in 21, Stand and Deliver, and Waller
Yeah.
versus Gargano in Stand and Deliver 23.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, there's different levels to it, right? So, um,
That's funny.
it's
The
different levels.
205 the 205 live one makes me laugh because I can't even believe that that show had a storyline that was allowed to go to unsanctioned. That's interesting.
Yeah, because that show was only an hour, right?
Well, that and it was just the idea of it. Like, it wasn't even a ton of, if I remember correctly, it wasn't even all that much. Like, there wasn't a ton of storyline to that. It was just the cruiserweights, right? That was the
Yeah,
whole idea. 205 Live. It was we were getting cruiserweights. Anyone 205 pounds or less, right? Like, that was back. They had for a while. They had that. That was the purple belt, wasn't it? That purple
yeah,
championship.
yep,
And Enzo Amore had it for a little while. It was a
yep.
big thing with him and, well, at the time, Neville.
He was
You go
good
back
though.
and you can't go back and think about Neville versus Bastard Pac now. It's so funny.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, he was good, right? He just never. He was good for what he could do in the ring. He wasn't the total performer that WWE likes guys to turn into, right? Like that was the issue.
right.
Like, and that was the thing where Ricochet, like Triple H said, he could do anything in the ring you asked him to do. But when he got on the mic, it wasn't there. So you could see it's taking more than an initiative from AEW to get him that experience. So,
Yeah.
Tuesday night we had NXT on CW, and basically, like I was texting you the whole entire time this was on. This show was basically just there to build for NXT Roadblock. Um, I mean, that's pretty much what it is, right? So, first match was Petrovic versus Stephanie Vacquier for the North Americans Women's Championship. Stephanie comes away with the win. Post match, Julia comes out, makes her entrance, congratulates Stephanie on the win, says she's the best champion, but she's not because she is. And then Valkyrie says La Primera, which means champion of champion. And that's how they set up Julia versus Stephanie for title versus title match at Roadblock. So somebody's walking away with double titles. If it doesn't end in a DQ from somebody somehow, right? Uh, So we also got Santino Marella back, which the crowd just loved again. It's just cool to see him back, especially like finding out he had to stop wrestling because of the issue he had in his back and his neck. So it's good. You can kind of see when he came out on Tuesday night, like the crowd actually got to him because he actually stopped when he first walked out, and he had to like wipe his eyes twice, I think, and then he started talking to the crowd. So like you could see just being back in that WWE environment, like actually just got to his heart, right? But he looks good and he plays this perfect like GM type r- role that he's supposed to be playing. Like I don't think you can find anybody better unless you bring back Teddy Long, right? Like he's perfect for this. Santino is. Um, so that was cool. Obviously he's the GM at TNA. He was talking to Lola. Um, well, yeah, he was backstage with her, and he was basically just talking about the Hardy Boys being on NXT, which was the other big thing from NXT, right? So that's our first big thing from NXT. Um, and then the other thing we had was Lexis King versus Moose for the TNA X Division Championship. So they're actually defending like these TNA titles against NXT people, which we contemplated if they were really going to do it. And I'm glad they tuned into our podcast and they said, yeah, we're going to do it. Because it just makes the full story, right? It just mm, b- makes sense. Like, if you're going to have a
Yeah.
partnership, go all in on it, right? Like, don't half-ass this. Like, what a lot of it feels like with some of the AEW going down to Ring of Honor stuff. Like, go all in on this, and it's not just gonna help the NXT brand. Like, it's gonna help the TNA brand. Like, I have TNA on my phone right now because Oba is gonna be in a tag match tonight. So once again, he's trapped. Like, he's doing Tau shows. He's doing the TNA or the TNA Thursday shows. He's doing the NXT Tuesday shows. Like, he is working, and that's kind of what you like to see out of these champions, right? Um. So I don't know. I don't think you caught this because you were on your way traveling back, right? Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Moose hits Lexus King with a crazy spear, gets the pinfall, beats him. Um, and then post match, Oba comes down just like we had in the first match with Stephanie and Julia. Tells him congratulations and tells him to focus on what's actually matters, which is him. And then he said Ava Rain made it official in 2 weeks at Roadblock, title versus title. But here's the thing: there's a rumor going around. It's not supposed to be title versus title. T overspoke. It's only supposed to be for the TNA title.
Whoops.
Yeah. So now, like, what's your thoughts on Tuesday night? Does the desk try and correct that, like, throughout the show, or do they just say screw it and let's just go for it?
I think, well, th- I don't think they try to correct it. Well, maybe they do. Maybe they just ignore that he said that. That wouldn't be the first time in
Right.
wrestling where,
Right. It
a
happens a lot.
wrestler's
Right.
right. They might, maybe they just go with it though, and they either do one of two things. It ends in a no contest somehow, right? Which would be easy enough to script in,
Yep.
and then, or they let it happen. Whoever's going to win wins, and they get both titles for a while. Since we realize now, from what we've seen, that this partnership is obviously deep enough that they're okay with
Yeah.
the back and forth, and they know it's intriguing. It's only a matter of time before titles start switching and showing up on each show, where a WWE guy or NXT guy is going to have a TNA title that they're walking around with for a while, and then they'll drop it later, and vice versa, I would assume. So maybe they just go with it.
Yeah.
It's easy enough to have them drop it later, that you can easily do a rematch clause, right? Um, and with that rematch clause, just say it's for the one title, it's not for both. You
Well,
know?
and just think if, like, this does end in a no contest, like, disqualification, it's very easy to have one of the guys in Moose's stable at TNA come back, be in the crowd, top the fence. He gets involved with Oba, and then they just call it, right? Like, it's very easy to bring a veteran like Brian Byers back, say, we're going to sit you in the third row. We're not going to show you on the camera until then. Jump the fence, and this is what I want you to do, right? Like, and then boom, that just sets up, okay, let's, let's go back
Right.
at it.
Right.
So, yeah, it was cool. It was just cool to see those, which is crazy, right? Because if you see Moose on the TNA show, he makes everybody he stands the next to look incredibly small. And then when he stands across from Oba, Oba looks like twice the size of him. Humans shouldn't be this goddamn big, Dan. They shouldn't.
No.
Like, this is insane. So obviously that's going to be pretty good. That builds up into Roadblock on a Tuesday night show, which is going to be great. Um, then we got some stuff from Jordan Grace backstage. Uh, she called out Roxanne, basically told Roxanne that everybody has a plan until they get, and then she gives Roxanne a forearm shiver to the face, and then her shirt gets stuck on the top rope, and we had a little bit of a wardrobe malfunction. Um, so, and then the other big thing from TNA, we had the Hardy Boys, as we said, versus Doe Quarter Catch Crew. Very good physical, very good physical, athletic type batch between these two. You could see the Hardy Boys are still solid when Jeff is doing okay outside of the ring, so it was good to see. And then they get confronted by Fraxium, and which is crazy because now this one, it's going to be Fraxium versus the Hardy Boys at Roadblock for only the TNA Tag Team World Championships. So it's not title versus title.
Right.
So, very interesting. There's a few other things going on the show that were kind of as is with Lola Vice and Tony D'Angelo. Good stuff, but not really like the highlights of the show. And then to finish it off, we had Javon Evans and Ricky Saints. Right? Yeah, that was the. Yep. And they win by pinfall on a Rochambeau from Saints on Wes Lee. Yeah, let's just be honest. Tony screwed up here, right? Like,
Well, yeah. I mean, I think
he
we knew that.
right, but there's no rust or anything. Like, he was perfect in the ring, perfect, and the
No.
crowd
Right.
loved him. Ricky loved the crowd. And then, did you see the clip going around of the NXT crowd chanting "Tony fumbled, Tony fumbled, Tony fumbled"?
I didn't see that.
It
No.
is as loud and as clear as day. So I'm sure Tony's gonna have something to say about that in his next press conference, as he always does. But it's just good to see, right? And obviously, I don't think Ricky will be on NXT for a while. I think this is the perfect spot for him to pick up the camera work that WWE likes, right? To like get down his entrances in a manner that WWE likes, to work on all the small stuff, because obviously they're confident in him that he can go in and go, right, if called up.
Right.
So this is
Yeah.
just kind of, let's tighten up the small stuff that AEW really doesn't do, and we'll be good to go. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like, we have 3 title matches for Roadblock. We have Tavoba versus Moose, title for title. But see, here's the thing. So the contradictory point I was talking about, if you look it up on any other site, for instance, 411 Mania has it being for the NXT Championship match. So the publication sites are putting it out just for the NXT title.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me think they're going to try and fix it this week somehow, right? Like, so, yeah, I mean, that Tuesday night card looks crazy, right? Like, looks crazy. Gonna have to catch that one for sure. And did you see our boy Eric Bischoff was talking about AEW? Or sorry, talking about NXT?
No, actually, I didn't see his stuff yet.
So, Conrad basically asked him, like, have you talked to NXT about going back full time? Like, what's your thoughts? And he basically said he wouldn't want to do full time, and he thinks that's the problem why they didn't bring it back. Like, he would want to probably do like 8 weeks at a time. He goes back home, like 8 weeks at a time, goes back home, like spacing it out, right? Because he has all these other projects he's working on. Like, he says he's writing scripts for like 2 or 3 production companies. So like
Yeah.
he's putting TV together, he's doing his podcast. Um, but he said like, but the way that he talked about it, it kind of sounded like that's the only hurdle that's stopping him from being back, was just what NXT probably wants out of him for a schedule. He's not willing to commit to. So it sounds like they
Yeah.
may
I
have
mean,
talked about it, right? And then
he's kind of long said that. I mean, even for the last few years on his podcast, like, it always comes up with what would it take to get you back into, running a wrestling promotion, running a show, being a part of this or whatever. And he would say, he would mostly say, like, to do Triple H's job or to do Tony's job, he goes, there's not enough money in the world anymore because I don't want to put that time in.
right.
He's like, there is no money. Like, you know, I just don't want to do it 365 days or 345 days a year anymore. So yeah, that makes sense to me that he would consider it if it's a very low schedule, and whatever, and it could be more it could be, you know, paced out like that. That makes sense to me. Yeah, he's long said like it's just not an interest of his anymore. And it has nothing to do with whether or not he loves the business. It's all about just like he loves his life now.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Like,
quiet out there in Boise, right?
yeah,
He's quiet in his cabin. He's with his wife. His
uh,
family comes to
uh,
visit.
Wyoming,
Yeah, Wyoming. That's where it was.
even more remote.
Yeah.
I mean, he's literally in the middle of nowhere. Like he says it all the time. Like there's like a bar and like a little general store, but like a Walmart is like an hour away or
Yeah.
45 minutes away. Right? Like he's got nowhere to go, which he loves, and he's got a big piece of property that he can go do whatever he wants on, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, it would be cool, like, right? Before he's done for good. Like, just to get him back for a little bit, right? Or, like, have him back as, like, a manager to, like, Ethan Page, right? Just, like, to have him involved, like, one more steady run before he's officially done.
Yeah.
Because he's been doing stuff for, like, that MLW show, right? Like, he
Right.
showed up there. He showed up to NXT before for, like, a one-night thing. He talked to all the guys there. He said the company's loaded. They have plenty of talent. He said it would be a dream to actually work there and put the card together. But yeah, I mean, I get a little giddy when he starts talking about this, right? Because I'm like, here we go. He's close. He's close. And then comes down to, no, he's not ready. Not ready yet. Not ready. So hopefully one day, fingers crossed, by the time my little guy starts watching NXT, hopefully we can see Eric back for one more solid run or something. So, yeah. So I mean, out of the WWE product, it was great. Uh,
Yeah.
both shows, solid shows. I got a feeling SmackDown tomorrow is gonna feel kind of long because 3 hour SmackDowns have been feeling kind of long and stretched out. So, um, I might be bad of me to say, but I kind of can't wait till they go 2 hours or 2.5 hours. Just to break it down a little bit more, get it more granular. I think would help it. So, you know,
Yeah.
should be good. But yeah. So, like I talked to you about before off the podcast, the legend himself, Lex Luger, was doing some wrestling podcasts the past week. The Chris Van Vliet podcast. And they basically talked about usually Chris has a pretty like upbeat podcast with the wrestlers, like where Road Dogg, he got to the point where like Road Dogg was basically blaming himself, right? He said, "Yeah, if I controlled what I was doing on the road, like my name could have been up there with like Mick Foley in Austin, right? Because I could go in the ring, I could go on the mic, but I really wasn't doing what I was supposed to outside of the ring, right?
Yeah.
So, um, this got kind of dark, I would say. I felt like it kind of got dark. I didn't get to finish watching the full thing. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. But they start talking about Miss Elizabeth and her death in 2003 being attributed to an accidental overdose of painkillers and alcohol. Um, and it occurred in the home she shared with Luger. And for anybody that's followed this and knows wrestling history, um, prior domestic disputes between them kind of have the wrestling world saying it's Lex's fault. Just because mentally they weren't the best for each other, I guess you could say. And as you got that much toxicity around you and that much of a negative relationship, unfortunately that can lead to some dangerous dead end roads that we all know. So he basically asked him whether he could come to WWE later on in the passing of Miss Elizabeth. He said after that everything happened, I got messed up with wine and women. I had too much time and money on my hands. I got messed up on drugs and alcohol. Had a period where I was complete train wreck. The tragic passing. Obviously, people tell me that I killed her. I didn't kill her, but I was a contributing factor to the lifestyle I was living and her being around me all the time. And she overdosed? Absolutely, he said. Um, so you could tell he's battling some demons, right? Like
Yeah.
like he gets his point of this and how she kind of unfortunately turned out to be collateral damage. Um, you know, with this whole negative situation that they both just couldn't separate each self from. And then they basically asked him what like rock bottom was, and he said you would think this was it, but after this he got into a deeper depression where he felt like he was completely unlovable and never going to be a part of wrestling again. Um, and instead of being so grieving over the loss of her, I was grieving over what this would do to me and my career. And he was doing his wrestling and his fitness and his nutrition quest after wrestling. He's gonna be a big like fitness guy. It sounded like he was gonna try and start his own company, so like almost like use his celebrity as a wrestler to be. I don't know if an influencer would be the right thing to say, but he was basically gonna try and use that right to transfer over to that side of the world. Um, so then that's when he found religion again, and yeah, it's tough, right? Because these stories are always dark, right? Like just like the dark side of the ring episodes that we watch. We watch it because we're a fan of wrestling, but overall, we don't know what a toll it's taken on these guys day in and day out. How their bodies are like recuperating from all this. How are they getting through this? Like, is it pain pills? Is it alcohol? Is it other drugs? Like, what are they doing just to be able to work like on a Friday in North Carolina or something, right? So
Yeah.
it's rough. I would suggest everyone that was a fan of his and a fan of WCW go in, take some time, tune into it, listen to it. From what I heard, it's very good. Um, and it's like he's some people have him on their Mount Rushmore, right? Like he gets where he screwed up, and he and fits through all that. So it's just another great interview done by Chris. So that's up on his YouTube now. So go check that out. It's definitely worth it if you didn't get a chance to tune into the full thing. But yeah, thoughts on that, Dan? It's it's just tragic, right? Because you see him trying to make the improvements with the DDP yoga to be able to walk again, but then you kind of get fearful of like what he would probably do to himself based on all these demons he's dealing with, right? So I don't know, man. It's just tough to see one of the guys that we loved as kids kind of, um, you know, be down this deep dark path. So yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's sad. It's also too familiar a story in wrestling,
yeah,
you know?
very good point. Yeah,
And, most of the time it leads with the wrestler dying,
yep,
also. So yeah, it's always sad to see, but, he's obviously done what he can to pick it up now and be better. And so, yeah,
yeah, yeah, man.
it's rough for sure.
Yeah, it is tough. Um, Yeah, I mean, there's not a great way to transition from that, but it was a packed week of wrestling. And on Wednesday night, like I said, Raw, Monday, NXT, Tuesday, Wednesday night, we have AEW Dynamite. Dan, did you catch this at all?
I caught a little bit of it, but not a ton.
So I've been trying to catch it on TV, and then I've been trying to rewatch on HBO. Do you know they're not up the same week that they broadcast? I think there's like a 2 week delay in the episodes.
Yet it's simulcast.
So they show it live on HBO Max?
That was my understanding. I've never caught it live on Max, but that was my understanding, was that it is simulcast. That's what the news releases have always said.
Yeah, I thought it was, yeah, I thought they were doing it after a certain date. I didn't think it was like when they first started, but
Well, let's see. So looking right now, yeah, the most recent show is 219 that you can watch.
yeah, so 2 weeks ago, right? Or
Yeah.
no, last week.
Last week's show is up now. I don't know when it got put up. I'm just looking now, but I'm almost positive that it is. I'm almost positive. Well, actually, no. Here you go. So if you go into the Max app
Yeah.
and you type in AEW,
Yep.
the first thing that comes up just says generally AEW, and it says 3 seasons, and that's what I just looked at. But if you scroll down a little, it says AEW Dynamite February 26th replay, and I can click on it and yeah, watch now.
All right.
So
Cool.
it's there. So it's weird. It's just not listed in the category properly, but you can search and get it.
Okay. Cool. Well,
But yeah, it is. I'm almost positive it's simulcast.
good. Then I'll just have to check that out tonight after TNA.
Yeah, watch Dynamite every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on Max. Yep.
All right, perfect. Perfect for somebody that's switching their legal version of streaming TV. I had to put that legal in there. Um, you know,
Please.
just cuz
Please.
you know, just certain people around me, Anyways, uh
My conscience is clear.
but did you see this actually came out earlier today that Warner Brothers Discovery came out and clarified the Max cancellation will not be affecting AEW. So we previously talked about this, that Max, aka Warner Brothers Discovery, was talking about pursuing plans to introduce a premium tier for sports content on Max, and they announced it back in September of 23, but the sports content will still be accessible to both standard and premium subscribers, which I can't tell what I am now. Um, so yeah, that their statement basically was the recent Max news does not affect AEW at all. AEW's Wednesday and Saturday live shows will be available on all tiers of Max. So there you go. So that's good. Because I hate paying. I just hate having to upgrade an app to get like the package, right? Like it's just I just find it idiotic. I get why they do it for a business, but
Right.
um yeah, I just hate it. So um but yeah, it is uh yeah, so I mean, I don't know, you caught parts of it. What did you catch? Was it like what was it anything that really caught your eye? Like anything
Um,
specific?
no, I mean, I only saw some clips here and there. It wasn't anything I saw. I didn't see the episode from start to finish. I'm a little intrigued about what they're doing with Moxley and Edge. I mean, I know what they're doing, but like a little intrigued about that.
With who?
And I am, oh, I'm sorry, Cope.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Jesus.
rated R superstar Cope. Um, I um I'm not necessarily intrigued in seeing MJF and Hangman Page, but I am interested in seeing after what they do with MJF. Um, because I feel like they're trying to go back to a little bit to the I hate AEW MJF, right? Like they had that little, I don't know if you saw
Yeah.
the clip or not. They had that little promo and he's getting the tattoo removed, allegedly, which it would be hilarious to me if he got that tattoo knowing that in a year he would get it removed, right? Or if that was just a fake tattoo all along,
Yeah.
right? Right, like I don't know. Um if he got it specifically to have it removed, I give him all the respect in the world for going that far into a storyline. Um because I was really shocked about the tattoo originally. I remember when he did the promo and did the Wolf of Wall Street, I'm not fucking leaving type thing, and then showed the tattoo, and I thought that was like hilarious and crazy. I also thought it was a little bit of a nod to Cody just for the hell of it. And then, and I don't know, and the getting it removed is just great. But I'm interested to see because I've always been a big fan with what he's done, and I've always wanted them to get him back to that level he was
Yeah.
at, right? Like,
Yeah, because he's only had the big belt once, right?
he's only had it once that I can think of, and like, but you know, he was never. I mean, for a little while, he was the hottest thing in wrestling next to Roman, right?
Yes.
Like, he really was.
And
He really
depending on
was.
the week, his promos were above and beyond.
Oh, yeah. In flashes, he was the
Yeah.
biggest thing in
Yeah.
wrestling for sure. But staying power wise, he was second only to Roman. And even when Punk came back, he stayed right there with Punk, right? So that was the deal. Um, and they've never gotten him back there. So, and the coming back, the devil thing and the coming back and the hating Tony and calling him a mark and telling him to fire him, all that stuff was so good. And then all of a sudden he went away for a little bit and he came back and it was like a sob I love AEW thing. And I was like, I hate this.
Yeah,
I
it was
absolutely
weird,
hate
right?
this. I just hated it. I was like, oh, it's cool. He decided to stay. We had already learned he had signed like a 5-year deal, I think. He might have been the highest paid guy there now, whatever it was. We've talked about that. Fine, whatever he wanted to do. It was his choice. I've said it I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, I think, that I still think someday he'll get there, to WWE. I probably would have liked to have seen it sooner. I think he could have added something to a Cody story that would have been awesome at the time, right? Like to keep Cody a little more on his heels,
Fresh,
with
yeah.
somebody chasing him that was new, and the crowd would have gone wild for it. I mean, it would have just been another incredible reaction to an AEW guy that people didn't expect to jump ship, right? Like, and he would have immediately been great. I mean, imagine him on Netflix with a little less restrictions, right? Like, be great. Um, and with the WWE machine behind him. But he chose what he chose, and that's fine. There's reasons for it. I've talked about that too. Schedule, money, creativity, freedom, which, sometimes is a bad thing, but, to the wrestler, they probably always think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's reasons he picked, and that's his choice, and that's fine. Um, but I'm hoping now that he's kind of going down a screw you guys. Like, I hated this company, then I fell in love with this company, now I hate it again. That's what I'm hoping for.
Imagine if he shows up on a show with the old school WWF logo. Like,
Oh my god, that'd be great.
right? Like, that kind of like brings it back to like when, like, we talk about this all the time, how Punk signed the WWE contract on the Ring of Honor belt. Like, the fans would lose it if he just showed up one day and was like, "Oh, I got that tattoo going, but I got this one," right? And it's just the old WWF logo. That would be hysterical. Or, with the rumor has it that Vince is coming back. How funny would it be if he starts making some promos that, "Oh yeah, you know who gave me a call the other day? Oh, Vinny Max said I can have anything I want," right? Like that type of stuff. That'll be hysterical. I doubt he'll do that just because people have been trying their best to stay away from talking about him, which I get. But how do you feel about the Hangman Page stuff? I saw Page had another quick, like, just crushing match on Aaron Solo, and then you know they
Yeah,
found his buddy
I didn't,
bloody backstage.
yeah, I didn't see it, but I mean, okay, you know,
I I think the only time they wrestled was when the first time MJF got the ring, right? Was when he won
probably.
the ring. I think that's the only time that they wrestled. So, um, yeah, it's interesting. Christopher Daniels got pretty beat up here. It looks like. Is the Don Callis stuff doing anything for you? He's kind of
No.
stale to me. Yeah. Okay. So we're on the same page there. He's kind of stale. I just don't know what it is. He just, like, I enjoy watching Osprey. I enjoy watching him team with Kenny, but like I'm just, it doesn't do anything for me. So, um, maybe if I caught it live or something, I could get into it. But and then I wanted to get your thoughts on this too. So there's gonna be Ricochet and Swerve agree to a world title contender match at Revolution. Um, do you see them putting Ricochet in the ring against Moxley?
No.
It has to be Swerve, right?
Yeah.
I think so too. But then, what happens to Ricochet from this? Right? Like, does he still chase Swerve? Like, what are we doing? Do you know what I mean?
Um. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think it's a classic. They're just not really using Ricochet in any great way. They're just throwing him into something.
Yeah.
You know.
Um, yeah. So, and then to get to your point about Boxley, what's your thought about this? Because it seems like on consecutive weeks or so, everybody he partnered with gets a concerto from Cope. Like, is this doing anything for you? Are you interested in this?
In Mox and Cope,
Yeah,
I mean, I am a little bit, just it's a world title thing. I tend to think that Moxley's going to come out on top because I do think that they're not. I don't think that they're going to let Cope be the one to overtake him and his group here. I think they're going to let it be. Well, I originally thought it was going to be Cassidy or Darby, but
I did think
you know,
Darby.
I don't know what's going on, with them now. So this could just be a story for now. I just don't see it being Cope,
Um,
but
how do you feel about these concerto shots?
um,
Willows look kind of dangerous.
I think they always look a little dangerous, to
Yeah,
be honest. But I don't mind them. I've never really been like a guy that cared all that much about the headshots with the chairs and stuff. Like I understand why you would say stop doing it, but I also like there's so much that they do that's dangerous
yeah,
and that they allow that yeah, like chair shots to the head when they were gratuitous was like a problem for sure.
like
But I think they got a
Kurt
lot
Angles.
safer. Well, I was thinking there's that great video of well there's a few of them, but one of them was that one with Foley taking him with his hands when he was handcuffed,
Mm-hmm.
right, and taking him from the Rock, I think, right, like unprotected, right, like there's ways to do them right where they're obviously a lot safer. And I know that using the word safer when you're talking about this sounds dumb and counterintuitive, but I mean, to me, is there really any difference between a chair shot and a pile driver off the edge of the ring mat into a chair?
No, and I sent you that pretty bad one,
Right.
right, from the
Well,
FaceTime
right.
match.
And that one was very bad, but I mean, like, but even WWE will allow that kind of stuff. So it's like, I don't know. Like, so I've never really been one. So concertos don't bother me any more or less than anything they do. Um, you know,
Yeah,
so
it's just kind of, I don't know, something about when I see a concerto shot, I'm like, ooh, like it just kind of gives me a little bit queasy in the stomach, right? Because depending on who's doing it, like Cope did it perfectly to where the top end of the chair he swung down hit the bottom chair, and it still looked like it smushed the head, right? But
right.
Willow looked like she swung that at more of a flat angle, and that's what the was. So yeah, it's interesting stuff. I don't know, man. It's good to see, but then at the same time, it's funny how I uh feel kind of uneasy about it too at the same time. But that is professional wrestling. That is why we still watch it. That is why we have a podcast, like because we love talking about this stuff. So, yeah, I mean that was pretty much sums up our Monday through Wednesday. TNA's on right now. It's a banger of a show. Remind me, I still got to send you my password for that. But it's great stuff. I'm interested to go back now that I know I can just search for the specific AEW episodes and pull them up. That would be cool. But yeah, I guess that was all the mainline stuff that I had. There was something I wanted to get your thoughts on before we jump to this trivia thing I found. Um, I forgot to bring this up during the WWE stuff. What's your thoughts on the Rock's deal?
I don't know. I still think this is somehow leading to Roman. I think that's the direction they're going, and they're just using Cody to do it, right? I saw something online, so I don't remember who though, right? So I don't want to try to like take credit. It's not my idea, but when I read it, um I realized that like it to me it made a ton of sense. And it was basically right. So Rock is doing this thing with Cody. I wish I could remember who posted it, but Rock is doing this thing with Cody, which we don't really know what it is, but we know it's gonna continue at the chamber, right, in some capacity. And Punk wins the chamber, okay, under this guy's plan. Obviously, he's going for Cody. Well, he has to go for Cody, right? He's going for Cody, but who's in his way but The Rock? Because The Rock is doing whatever he's doing with Cody. And Punk goes to Paul and cashes in his favor and says, my favor is you get Roman to come get this guy out of my friggin' way and out of my match at WrestleMania. And Roman comes, and because Paul convinces him to stand in the way of The Rock and whatever he's doing with Cody and focus it back on who's really the final boss, the tribal chief, the leader of the family. Put up the Ula Fala against The Rock, and you get Roman Rock, you get Cody Punk, you get Jay Gunther, and everybody's happy, and they've got a story that went along with it. And I'm sitting there going like, I love that, and it makes perfect sense to me. So I don't know who it was. It was just somebody on Facebook or Twitter or X, whatever. And boom. And I thought, that's great. That is great. So, but I kind of thought we were going to do that in some capacity. I don't think like I don't get the Rock. I don't see Rock Cody. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't. I like to assume I know what's happening. I'm
Yeah.
completely lost. Like when he said, "I don't like," and because I jumped at the fact he said, "I want that," and Cody thought the belt, right?
Right.
But it wasn't the belt. So he wants your soul. So I'm like, all right, The Rock's going all Princess and the Frog now. I'm like, I don't know what to assume. Like this is like I don't know. It's something, right? Like it's but it's weird how The Rock comes out and says it's not going to result in a match. Right? Like he's almost telling you like he's just enjoying this, but it does kind of feel like he's holding the card hostage kind of. Because they only did this supposedly the writers found out Thursday evening.
Yeah.
Which is like on
Yeah.
the Rock's time, so I don't know.
Maybe.
Interesting stuff. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get something from it, right? Or we'll get something. I don't know if we will. That's the thing. So I don't know. Who knows? It's interesting, but I feel so confused from the Rock just popping back like that. So confused. So we'll see what it has to do. But yeah. So Dan, I wanted to show you this thing I found.
All right.
Let me pull this over here. Did this pull up? Hang on 1 second here, sir.
I mean, I see it.
Do you see the Elimination Chamber
Yep.
winners.
Sure do.
All right, that's weird. It's not showing on there. There we go. So here's the deal, Daniel.
Oh my
We
goodness.
have 7 minutes, right?
Oh
From
God.
2002 to the Perf one.
This is more than just this is elimination chamber matches. So it was before it was own pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
I'm gonna be of little to no help, but okay.
well,
Let's
here's what
do
we
this.
do. Here's what we do. I got a feeling we just try random names, right?
Yes,
And then we'll
yes.
see who we get, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure, we're gonna pull some just by checking names.
I just want to make sure I spell it
Researching
right.
now.
All right.
Oh yeah.
So technically, does it still show?
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So technically, you ready to go on this, Dan?
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. So
Start the clock.
start this. So we got
Oh, it's two.
two.
We got two.
21 and from Perf. Okay. So now we go. I'm saying Cena. Right?
Cena, yes. Yes.
All right. So we
Three
got
times.
three. All right.
Triple H.
Yes.
He had to have won one.
Four.
Okay, 4.
All right. We got making progress there. We got 6 minutes and 30 seconds left. Batista?
Shawn.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. One?
Only once. The first one ever. Batista, yes, actually. Yes. And Lashley too, I think.
None.
It's isn't it BAU?
Oh, yep. I'm dumb.
Well, it still didn't work. Put Lashley. Yeah, that's right. No, you had it right for sure.
Okay. One.
Okay, 1.
Orton?
Orton.
1. Bro, we got all of 2015. Like,
I'm trying to think. Did Seth?
Rollins win one? No.
Yeah, try it. I think he did. Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Hang on.
Oh, is this going to be women too? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot about that. Well, Charlotte, didn't she win one?
Right? That's how you
No.
spell it?
No, switch your L and your O. Yeah, TTE. Or just put Flair.
No.
Wow. Oh man, we only got 5 minutes left. Who the hell? Oh, didn't Bianca? Didn't Bianca win?
Bro, nothing's coming up.
God, women. Who could be the women that have won it?
Is it Rhea?
Becky or not Becky? Bailey.
The Boss and Hug connection. They did it in 2019.
Oh, what about Sasha alone?
Nope.
Undertaker?
1.
Oh, Jesus. The Rock?
No.
What?
Bro, I'm so about to start cheating on this.
Hold on. Wait till 2 minutes to cheat. I'm trying to think of women that. Who? I mean, how many women could there have been? Did Alexa Bliss win?
That might be a good answer. Yep, she got the 2018 one.
Okay. Jeez. Oh, Punk. Here's 1-1.
1.
1. I can't wait to see who we're missing, right? Oh, Roman.
Edge. Is it Brian?
It'll be Daniels,
He got
Daniel
3.
Bryan.
Yeah.
Roman.
Nope.
No.
Oh yeah, 1.
Oh, okay. Oh, gee. Actually, don't cheat. We should just see because we'll get the answers in the end.
Yeah.
Did you try Liv or Rhea?
Yeah. I could try again. See if it was
No, I think that's right.
Liv.
And Becky. You put Becky Lynch.
Yeah, we got her for the perf one.
Okay. Go.
Was Jericho? Jericho had to get one, right?
I have no idea on Jericho.
Yep.
Okay.
I got 1.
Try Asuka for women. I'm trying to think, like, who are the women that could have done?
Yep, that's a good one. You got that one in 23.
Okay. Oh man.
What's his name that came out with Dutch?
Jack Swagger.
So we got that whole side. So now we got 2015 on in 40 seconds.
What about Bray?
Oh, that's a good one. Yep.
1. That's it. The women is stumping me. Like, the women is stumping me because there couldn't have been that many women that we can't think of that have won this.
What
but
about
now I'm
Brock?
looking at who? Oh, Lesnar? Yeah, try Lesnar.
No.
Women's tag team. Oh, there he is. Okay. 6 seconds. Women's tag team championship. Okay. Well, who'd we miss?
So we missed New Day, Ryback. I didn't even know Ryback was in one.
I would have never guessed.
Oh,
I would have never guessed.
we did put in Bianca. It just didn't show up. I probably spelled it wrong. It was
okay.
Oh,
Shayna Baszler. I don't remember that at all.
And I don't remember the Miz and John.
No, the tag team elimination chambers, because the New Day too. I don't even remember tag team elimination chambers. Austin Theory. I remember that now, but I didn't think of that. I would have never thought of that. Interesting. Yeah, Ryback. I would have never figured.
What do you got? Time for one?
Let's do it. Oh God, King of the Ring. Yeah, let's do it. We know one right off the bat, the most famous one ever. Do it.
Hang on.
Only 6 minutes this time.
Nope.
Maybe it doesn't start until you do your first. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, Austin. There we go. Booker T, King Booker, Macho Man.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, maybe this won't be quite as hard as I thought. Triple H, didn't he eventually win it after he got snubbed on the Austin one because of the send off or the whatever, the click thing? Yep.
He won this Hunter. Yep.
Xavier Woods.
Yep. The world's crybaby, Bret Hart, right?
Yep.
Did I spell that wrong?
It's 1T in Brett.
Man, I'm having a tough night. I am tired.
Oh,
Bret Hart twice. Yep.
try Steamboat. Steamboat. No. Okay.
Edge, right? Yep. Brock. Brock had to win one. Yep.
Oh, Owen. Owen won one too. Owen Hart, obviously.
Kurt Angle, right?
I don't remember.
Yep. He was
I mean,
2000.
try.
Yeah, 2000. So we need 99, and then from 2008 on.
And 85 and 86, which we'll never get.
Well, that's probably what? That's probably.
Oh, I know.
That's probably Harley Race or something from back then, right?
Yeah, I know. Mabel. King Mabel. Oh, there you go. Harley Race. Yeah. Yeah, I remember the picture of Harley with the ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
Mabel. Mabel.
Yep. He was 95.
Yeah, I remember him with the crown too.
Sheamus, because they put out the action figure for it.
Okay. Who's the most recent one? 2024. Who just won it? After Xavier. Who was the last person to be king of the ring?
Did the world's most dangerous man ever won one? Do you think he's 98 or 99? Shamrock?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yep, 98. Who's that 99? Is that Billy Gunn? Is that one of the guys from DX?
I don't remember Billy Gunn doing it, but maybe. I mean, try it. No, it's gonna bother me now.
Yeah.
Who just won it?
99, Billy Gunn.
Nice. Who literally just won it?
Yeah, I don't know, Dan.
Gunther.
Was it?
Saudi Arabia. Remember they moved the tournament to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that doesn't count to me. That's kind of like when they take steroids out of baseball.
Yeah.
Why are we watching? You know. 2015. Who was 2015, Dan?
I have no idea. I'm only remembering them if they had like a real big gimmick.
Did Regal? He had it once, right?
Yes, I think he did.
Is it REA?
I think it's R. I think it's just REGAL.
Yep, good job. That's 08. He was 08? That doesn't seem that long ago. So we need 2015 on that side, and then we need
88 and 89. I have no idea.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it was very gimmicky back then, but I don't remember any of like who they were.
Bro, I don't know.
Hmm.
88.
30 seconds left. After Randy, it wasn't like Honky Tonk Man or any of those guys, right?
Throwing Lashley in here. Let's see. Nope, no Lashley. Who was 2015?
Like Rick Rude. It was never Rick Rude, right? No. Bobby Roode. um. Well, we're gonna find out in 3 seconds.
Bad News Barrett.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Million Ted DiBiase did one.
Oh yeah, Tito. Yeah, I don't remember DiBiase or Tito or Don Morocco. I mean, I was 4 years old in '85, so um, that's interesting. That is interesting. Oh my God, AEW. What is that one? AEW All Elite Wrestling Roster 2025. What's it gonna have 600 spots? Like what the hell?
Yeah.
That's funny. We'll have to do some of the AEW ones on a later show because those will be interesting for us to do.
Yeah, right.
Should be easier in theory since it's only 5-6 years old, but like it's interesting.
Yeah. That's great stuff. So yeah, it's a good time. I've let me get this out here. I found that and I was like, we gotta do this. I'll probably be doing this during work tomorrow. Just well, Dan, the average score was a 71. We got an 83, so not bad.
All right. Well, Jim, we talk about this stuff on a podcast. We better be doing a little bit better.
Yeah, but then 7 people tune in, so.
Yeah, and 4 of the 7 are related to us.
Yeah, and the other 3 are Russian bots somehow, probably trying to take over the country.
Probably.
All right, we got to do this one more. Just one more.
Okay.
And then we'll end the podcast on this one.
We'll make this a regular thing though, because this is good.
Yeah.
What's this one?
Okay, so their first championship was 2002 SummerSlam. Their first Universal Championship was WrestleMania 33. Who's the champion? I don't think we're going to get any of these right, Dan. We have 1:30.
Wait, first WWE Championship and first Universal. Okay. Well, see, this is going to screw me up because the lineages are important. Like, okay.
All right. So let's think about it. We have how many spots? 5, right? So what names do you want me to throw in here first? Just because we only have 1:30. We got to throw Brock in here, right? You think? Or no?
Yeah, I mean, Brock, yeah, like, I think Brock, 2002, though, first WWE Championship, and WrestleMania 33 was, what year was WrestleMania 33? Jesus, what are we on? We're on, like, 41 now? WrestleMania 33 was in 2017. So 15 years between championships. So it's somebody with staying power.